he was looking at the analytics.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Making it.
Welcome back, guys. We're in another episode on the Unpopular podcast. We're joined today with Sumo. This is one of our longtime friends from high school. He's a great guy, fun, hilarious. A lot of you guys are going to know him. Thank you guys for the positive feedback on the last podcast. We hit about 50 plus views, almost 70.
We got 70 actually.
Yeah. It's great. It's a great response. If you guys have any recommendations for topics, anything like that, maybe if you want to be on the show, definitely leave a comment below. But Sumo, how's everything? How's everything been? Like, what have you been up to?
Well, I'd like to start off. Well, I actually got hooked up after I, directly after high school. My father hooked me up with a job, and I don't know if you guys are aware of the COVID problem that ensued after.
Yeah.
So you guys know me, knowing my reputation in high school, it's no surprise that I lost this job and got fired.
Damn. Really?
And it was a job that my dad hooked me up with. So my dad, he's the manager. He oversees the dock and he works the warehouse. He hooked me up. He's like, hey, all right, I'm gonna be honest. They hire people who aren't legal. So he's like, a lot of the people are not coming in, and we need to hire temps, and everybody's scared of the whole COVID ordeal. So he hired me. He got me on, and I was catching on. I was doing paperwork. I even drove the forklift. I didn't even need a certification, right? So I got hooked up. Now, it's in the summer, and everybody knows that I don't fuck with the whole COVID shit. Am I allowed to curse?
Yeah, you're good.
As long as it's
so I don't. It's like it's hogwash to me. I'm like, this is nonsense. This is unnecessary. I have to. Like, if you have it like 2 centimeters below your nose, you're like, oh my God, you're a threat. So I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not wearing the mask.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was me and the PR guy, and the HR guy, the people, they started complaining, and, the safety guy. So that I built the reputation as the guy who doesn't wear the mask. So that label was on me the entire time. Mm-hmm. And it didn't really like, it didn't matter after a while because people were like, oh, it's just let him be. He's that one guy. You know what I mean? It's not going to matter. And towards like December, there's new management coming in. So there's a new company that bought the company. Okay. And now these people are really on the COVID shit.
Oh, okay.
They're like, start wearing. And I was like, you know what? My dad's my dad manages this place. I don't want to
cause problems.
He's got enough on his plate. I'm his
you don't want to make him look bad.
Right. I'm his son, and I don't. Yeah. Right. So I was like, I'll put on the fucking mask. I'll deal with it. I get paid. I get overtime. I get hooked up. I'm not gonna just throw this all away because I won't wear a mask. Now this lady keeps complaining, hey. Now this is the lady that doesn't complain that you don't have your mask on. It's that your mask is 2 centimeters below your nose. This is the lady. This isn't some lady who's like, oh, I'm afraid of COVID if you don't have your mask. No, I see that 'cause she's an old lady, but that wasn't enough for her. Now the new management comes in. Mind you, these new people that came over, these corporate assholes that come in, they've never seen me without a mask on, and I've never rebelled. I've never openly said I'm not wearing a fucking mask and I'm not wearing it, and never wore it. I wore it. So, and then you had these intervals of her complaining, like, oh hey, these guys don't have their mask on over their nose and yada yada yada. But these guys never seen me. Now, one day, this is December 18th, 2020. I'm sitting on the forklift, and we're loading the truck, and my mask is 2 centimeters below my nose. And the guy comes over to me and says, Julie, you got to put your mask on, man. It is what it is. The management, blah, blah, blah. Please, boom, all right, it's lunchtime. I didn't think of anything of it. I'm in the office, I got sugar cookies out and shit. I'm like, button cookies. I'm just walking around. I'm like, Christmas time. It's good time. And then I come back in, and my other manager is on his knees, and my father's turned around on his knees while the other manager who told me to put the mask on. They're talking to my father. I'm looking at him. I'm like, what's he talking about? Something. I walk in. My dad's eyes are like blood red. I'm like, he goes, you hear that? He's like, they're letting you go in front of everybody in the office. And I'm like, I'm not like 13. You could have came and told me this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was my father in front of everybody in the fucking office. And then they're like, yeah, they're letting you go. And mind you, they didn't even have the balls to turn around on me. Like they turn around and tell me like, yeah, man, this is what it is. Sorry, you know, it can't be your fault. No, they stood there. They finished what they had to, they finished what they were saying to my dad, got up and left. And I'm there like a fucking jerk off in front of my father.
They
Like,
just brushed you.
they just
like nothing?
dude, seriously. And then, right. I'm like, so that's it. All right. And then I get this call from the agency lady. She's like, oh, you have to leave the building now. So I had to stay in my dad's fucking car. It was the most humiliating experience.
Jeez.
My dad was pissed off.
What was this warehouse? What kind of job was this?
Well, I'll say it because I hate them. Toll Global Forwarding in Carteret, New Jersey. They're not Toll Global anymore. And thankfully so, the company is completely in shambles. It's gone. So the company doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, wait, so your father's not working there either?
No, he's not working there either. He's in another company now. So.
Oh, well,
That's me after high school. And
That was that same
me across the fucking
that whole year. As soon as you got out of high school,
as soon as I got out of high school, that whole year up until then, I got a job, understood the workforce, did manual labor, got my hands dirty, and got fired. So, and I'm not afraid to say it, I am not employed as of right now.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of.
I haven't had a job since then.
You haven't had a job since then?
No.
What have you been doing?
I did a couple of I went to the agency and then
you're trying to get
I was
something.
like, fuck that, no, yeah.
Well, you're not the only one. A bunch of people can't work right now.
Dude,
it's just
there is nothing on the market right now.
No, and it's like they asked for this job, like they asked for employees, but they're not hiring. They're just not.
Yeah, and they were very, I don't want to say, but they have a very thin line of who they want to select.
Yeah, it's
the application process.
It's weird. I applied to, I work at the supermarket called Lidl in 41st Street in Park. I worked there. I applied as a supervisor, didn't get it, whatever. And I'm coming in, and they got old ladies, old men, and this is like
malleable people.
Yeah. And these are jobs where you gotta lift heavy ass boxes to place them into the, where you put the groceries. They're heavy, bro. A lot of them quit within like a week, and then they hired.
It's fucked up because they understand that if they take a youngin and the young person in, they're gonna ask for a raise, and they're gonna be a pain in the ass, and they don't want that. They want yes people, older people, kids right at it's always the people in the middle that get fucked. They either hire older, very old people or kids straight out of high school. They're gonna wind up quitting in a fucking week.
Yeah.
Because the manager said something they didn't like. So I don't understand. And a lot of these places, they're only hiring 1-2 people at a time.
Yeah.
At a time, and my cousin just told me this recently. They're taking, like, for example, if you have to load a truck, they're not going to hire a certain amount of laborers anymore. They're going to ask the guy in the truck to go and load his own truck, so they're going to pay him $1 extra without having to pay anybody else.
Yeah.
And that's why they hire. And granted, I've worked with a lot of, my opinion has completely changed. Hispanics, the quote unquote illegal people are the most hardest working. I've seen these people work so fucking hard, dude. I'm like, how do you do it? And I understand why they hire them for cheap labor, because they'll do it, no questions asked.
Yeah, bro. You got them working like 45 plus for like $200 a week. That's terrible.
And they don't care. They just want the money. They have the work ethic.
It's unfortunately.
Why would you hire an annoying
white kid from the suburbs?
Oh, they're not going to do anything. But no, they'll never get their fucking hands dirty. But you're not going to hire somebody who's going to, like I said, be a pain in the ass and start asking for raises and benefits and yada yada. When you can just hire illegals for cheap labor and not give a shit about
like
them.
you said, yes men.
Right.
Just trying to get what they can. Some people, unfortunately, are at their crossroads where it's either you do or you don't.
Yeah, well, I mean,
take what you can get.
a lot of us have experience with that. Like our parents are either second generation, first generation, you
Right.
know, undocumented citizens here, and we had to go through that. Like my whole life, we grew up with our mother, right? She had to work crazy hours. I'm talking like 50, 60 plus, right? Barely making $300 a week. A lady like that who has problems with her sight, you know, she's never been really strong or something like that. You know, and I admire my mother for doing that, but it's like, yo, we got to do something about that. You know, I know they're undocumented, but there's got to be some rights. There's got to be some leeway here because
it really is a shame, man. Because it gets political. It gets philosophical. You know, the whole you know workers' rights movement. I mean, there is no manufacturing base in the United States of America, right? There's only warehouses and things that use transportation.
And that's why
we don't actually have factories and people that could work in them to, you know, justify the means of production.
Yeah.
Right. So it's sad when you hear cases like that. You know, people like, what's wrong with wanting to have affordable living, to, you know, live on a single income, like, right? You know, families, that's all people want. That's it.
no, and right now with the inflation, with the gas prices, with the Russia,
You've been seeing all these
Ukraine,
buildings coming up nearby.
That's a disgrace. That's a complete disgrace. You know, everybody knows me as like, oh, Sumo's a fucking racist. No, I don't want anybody, any of these people, because one, it's hilarious how these people who are, you know, gentrifying Union City, you know, specifically coming from downtown, these people have very specific politics, and I don't like it. These are the same people who will put the BLM flag out there by and have no problem kicking out a Hispanic. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Or the same people who say, "Oh, I care so much about Hispanics," right? Right, but they'll sit down in a diner and they won't wear their masks. They hate COVID, but they don't have a problem, you know, with an immigrant serving them food with a mask on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's completely
It's backwards.
discombobulated. They have no principles. These people, especially in Hoboken, that place is fucking.
You hate Hoboken? You don't like it?
It's the people of that ilk.
Yeah.
Those restaurants hire Mexicans. They do.
Yeah, a lot of them.
A lot of them.
You seen the pizzerias?
It's
all the Mexicans flipping the dough all over the place, and they love it.
We were doing Uber Eats. I would like go to pick up the order, like, oh, I have an order for like Josh, like, ¿quién?
yeah. Like you gotta speak Spanish. You gotta speak Spanish.
That's funny.
In order for them to catch it, and then their owner straight up white,
Yeah.
straight up white, and doesn't respect them sometimes. Like I see this happening, especially a lot in Uber Eats. You can see the white owner being like, "Oh, you gotta do this, and that," and they're like, "Sí, señor, sí, yes," and then where are they? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sucks to have to be like that.
But they do that because they have to. You know what I mean?
It's a different.
You say that to you say, like I said before, you say that to somebody, like, you know, a teen right out of high school, and you hire them, you'll be like, go fuck yourself, and they'll quit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they have no problem getting another job.
Right.
Yeah.
The worst part about it too is the fact that nobody can get a job now. Like it's not okay. Let's say the people that would work 1 week at one job and quit, they're not getting jobs. But now regular people aren't getting jobs. So what the fuck is gonna happen?
Yeah. There's no way to filter out.
Yeah, no, you can't do anything about it.
That's why I wish I knew what the selection process was, because I don't even know what it is. And I deal with like reading people's resumes sometimes.
It's connections. It's always just connections and networking. Like if you really have a way with your words and you can talk to these people and they'll let you in. You just gotta kind of manipulate it a little bit.
Well, use me as an example. I can't find a job now. The only way I was able to get a job is
connections.
My
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
and I worked my way up, and you know there was there was a little war, like, you know, there's gossip going around, like
about you and your dad.
Right.
Yeah,
And this kid just came in, and he's getting paid more than me, and the lady that the leader, the head of the agency, well, the secretary of the agency, was telling everybody what I was making.
Why? You can sue.
I can, but I didn't know after the fact.
Hindsight.
That's what sucks.
Hindsight.
And you know what's funny is that every single they thought I was stupid, so they'd say, "Hey, how much do you make, bro?" Like, oh yeah, $11.50. I lied to them. I wasn't making $11.50. I was making a lot more. And plus,
they knew you were lying to them.
they knew I was lying. Yeah, but I lied, so this way they didn't know for sure. They were like 99% sure, but there was that 1% doubt. But they can't complain, because after a while, I learned how to drive the forklift without the certification at first, with that. did the test and I got it.
Nice.
And then I started driving the reach truck. That's more money. So if you're gonna complain, right?
Start doing this shit.
Start doing it. They didn't want to do it. That's the problem.
And you realize that going into certain workplaces, you identify those people.
Right.
The people that just complain but don't do anything.
They complain, they're complacent, and they just want to do all the quote unquote unskilled labor.
Well,
so,
that's
why go drive that truck all day? Well, dude, you want to keep going to the fucking truck, dude? I mean, that's worse.
That's how it is in. I used to work at Amazon, right? They have one in Hoboken, and a lot of the shit is mainly grocery shopping. I would call it. You would get stuff, scan it, put it in a bag. That's basically what it is, right? Now, the guys, and this was strictly just guys because girls, I guess, not that they're too weak. I really don't know why they didn't pick any girls. Would do this.
They're
thing.
weak. Okay. Yeah.
It's called batching. So you would get the orders, put it on a big ass cart with 4 levels to give it to the driver so then they could go out. And they would have us on that shit for 6 hours, like straight up pushing these fucking carts all day. And I'm like, yo, I don't mind doing it. But you can't just have the same people doing it every day, bro. It's tired. And there's some girls that would come in, very pretty, you know, very cute, and then they'd be like, oh my, I can't work. I can't. My head hurts. I can you send me to the easiest place? Like, come on, bro. You know, getting touchy with the fucking managers, trying to manipulate them, and I'm like, yo, you can't do that shit, man. There's other people trying to work hard here. Like, you gotta give us some leeway out here. It was always like that in warehouses like that.
Right. It's always like we had the temps, like my father would call them the temps, like, you know, the people would work in, they'd come in and out. It's always a different group of people. Then they had the permanent temps. I was technically a permanent temp. I know that's oxymoronic.
Temp? That doesn't make sense.
Right. It doesn't make any sense. They call us permanent temps. Like, you can't be a permanent temp. It doesn't make any sense.
You're a permanent temporary.
Right. So it's because we were a part of the temp agency. We weren't necessarily employers of the company. Like, we had toll, and then there were simplified labor staffings, and that's what we worked for. And the women were always like given the easiest shit. You know, it's like, oh, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. Oh, but the women never ever dealt with the hard labor. Like, no matter what, they always assign them certain things. I'm like, if you're gonna be on this side of the warehouse, you're not picking and packing. You're here loading fucking trucks.
And they got the smallest box. These hurts. Yo,
every single time.
It hurts. And they stop after 5 boxes, bro. It was always the same thing. I don't know, and I don't like when they use the excuse, oh, it's because they're girls. You know, it's like, no, we're all here working, right? And I would see some girls that would put in the work too. I would see some girls picking up these huge ass boxes by themselves and doing it. Like, why can she do it and you can't?
Yeah, the supervisor I lady worked with didn't play around. She got in there. Yeah, dude, it was insane.
And that's awesome. I love to see especially when managers or like someone that's in charge gets in there and does something. You know what I mean? You can't have an employee come up to you, talk to you for half an hour, you know, gaining that half an hour of work for nothing. Can't have that. And that's why I left Amazon too, because there was a lot of favorites, a lot of favoritism, a lot of gossip, you know, and I just don't like that toxic environment.
Yeah, Amazon has a terrible reputation for treating its laborers like shit. And
Like
it's a transnational corporation. It's like slaves.
It is.
They just see the numbers.
Right.
And over there they have a scanner, right? That's the scanner you get the produce with, the products, everything. They track you every step that you take. They track you from when you come in to when you punch out. And if you took a shit for 2 minutes longer than you should have,
productivity.
Hell no. Like, why aren't you doing anything? We're gonna block you for this amount of time.
That's fucking insane. Oh my god, it gets me so angry because now after I got fired, you know, I was late. I procrastinated, didn't want to get a job. You know, I applied at certain places. I was like, fuck it, I'll just go to these random agencies and they'll throw me wherever. Went to this place, and mind you, most of these people are undocumented people. So they hire these people, and I was baffled. I was like, dude, they're having us clock in at 7:30. We're not leaving till 4:30 with a 15-minute break.
That's
I was like,
crazy.
this is why they hire these people. But this is why they hire them.
9.5 hour shift.
Yeah.
That's a 9.5
9.5 with a 15-minute break.
Get the fuck
And I was like,
They're being generous.
again, reality smacking me in the face. I was like, this isn't a race issue. This is strictly a labor and work rights issue. I was like, this right here is exactly why they hire them. Because Americans would be like, no, fuck you. We're unionizing now. This is terrible work conditions. This is horrible. Why am I going to work for 9 hours? Everyone's like, you're clocking out now? I was like, yeah, 3:30, bitch. This is an 8-hour shift. I'm not working another fucking 9 hours. Pay me more. Sorry for that. I was like, pay me more then. You're going to pay me an extra? You're going to pay me extra? No, of course not. You're not going to fucking give me overtime for that. That's overtime. I'm not working a 9th hour. Sorry. And the dude was looking at me like, you're a crazy Dominican kid. He spoke English good too. He wasn't illegal. He went to high school.
He called you Dominican kid?
No,
he's the Dominican.
He's the Dominican kid. I was like, dude, no fucking hey. Like he's like, oh, you're bro. Look at me like, I'm crazy. You're fucking working for free. I'm like, dude, you're working for free. Holy shit, man, you're working in. Oh my god, it was so frustrating, and I felt so bad, man, because these people don't know. They just want to work.
How many days did you work at that place?
There for like a month.
Leaving at 3:30 on the dot.
Well, it didn't hit me till I went to because some days they send you to this specific warehouse, right? You need to clock out, and then they sent me to this random warehouse, and I worked there one day, clocked out, and I didn't think nothing of it because I just waited outside the entire time. I was like, there's nobody here, and then that 1 hour, I was like, oh shit, now everybody's coming out, and then they picked us up, dropped us back off. And then that day I worked with that specific kid. He was like, my partner. And then I was like, he's like, where are you going? I was like, I'm clocking out. And he's like, yo, you're crazy. I was like, what are you talking about? It's 3:30. He said, no, we're not here for another hour. He started laughing. I'm like, oh, okay, go fuck yourself. I'm out of here, dude. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't do this.
What was the labor? What was the job like?
Loading trucks. That's all it was.
Damn.
I had a lot of like situations though where just people like just didn't know like their general rights like for being at work, and I like got into a spat with one of my managers, and like it was on site every day with him.
That's great.
Because he was just always on my ass about my breaks, and the first 2 times I was like, oh shit, I'm in the wrong, because like you wouldn't be telling me anything otherwise, and so I stopped taking my second 15 because he told me that I had to be there for a certain amount of time. Then I ended up one day just because the board was there in HR where you could see all those laws and everything.
Right.
And I saw that he illegally told me to stop taking my breaks. And so the next time I did it, I took my break. And then he was like, oh, Xavier, what are you doing taking your break? I'm like, hey, so you can go look at the board if you want in HR, but I'm entitled to take my 15 break. So that's what I'm going to do. And then he's like, what do you mean? Are you being insubordinate? And I was just
What?
I was just like, you can go read it on the board, and if we need to have a mediation in HR, we can have a mediation in HR. And then that was it. And it just became a constant on-site thing where he kept trying to call me out of my breaks. And I'm like, no, I've been here 8 hours.
He does that because he wants you to quit. It's the only
that's
reason
why.
It's
That's what the tactic is. They don't want you to
gaslighting.
They want you to get mad enough to where you're like, no, fuck this shit. I'm done. I'm better than this or whatever.
No.
But that's why you wait. You
need to have the patience.
and then you start becoming that asshole where you stick to those rules, and if they try to tell you, oh, come help us with this, I'm like, I gotta work on flex. So either you take this from me and I'll do that for you, or I'm gonna keep doing this. And most of the time they'll be like, oh, that's more important. So
That's insane.
but I was doing flex at the time, so all I did was push a cart around everywhere and just pick orders for like days. And all those orders, an hour and 30 minutes max for each order. They got on your ass though if like you obviously took your time, because some of them were like 6 items. If you took 30-45 minutes to get 6 items, there's a problem. But like
Fucking 6 items.
It's funny. The more we talk about it, the more we bring this up, it keeps giving me flashbacks towards like,
PTSD.
yeah, because he mentioned the 15-minute break. The job that my father got me, these people, I believe it was an hour. They gave us like a 55-minute lunch. Now the policy in that place is like a 10-minute break. They removed the break and added the minutes to the lunchtime so you wouldn't have a break. That was their workaround. And when the kid Jonathan's actually from Union City, small world, I was working with him. We'd been working there for 3 years. And he's like, yeah, that's what they do.
Like,
And I'm not gonna expect him to be like, oh, workers' rights, fuck you. But I was like, I get it, and you know, it's what they do. It's their workaround, and plus, you work for the agency, not the company. So
the thing is, like,
sad.
You get too smart for these jobs, and you start noticing the little things, right? But then when you tell everybody else, and you're like, yo, we could do something about it if we all come together and come to an agreement. But they're like, nah, I'll just work. Nah, because they're too scared.
Yeah,
right. It's like people don't understand. It's a job. It's like oh well, I just want my money and that's it. Well, dude, you know, people work because they want to like strive towards something better. Like, it's not just about the money,
like,
right?
You want to save for something. You want to get a house eventually. You want to have enough money to get that car, so that way everything else is just efficient,
easier,
or more efficient,
more convenient. Everything.
Yeah, and it's just
like, and this is only like a drop in the bucket. This is only like very few local examples. There are people all over the place that are trying to like unionize and organize, and these people get shut down by these corporations.
Well, actually, there was a successful one in Staten Island for an Amazon warehouse. They actually got a union going. They're getting paid holidays like crazy. They're getting everything. They're getting a bunch of shit. But now, for that to happen here, I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. Someone was telling me, "Oh, they should unionize McDonald's."
That'll never happen.
That will never.
That'll never
it's
happen.
impossible for that.
It is. It is. Right now, right at Lidl, I'm making, because they upped their minimum wage, their wage. I'm making just as much as the manager's making over there at McDonald's, and I'm an employee. That's how I know McDonald's is still slacking on everything that they're doing. Because we were working there for years. Busting my ass off. Working fucking 13, 14-hour shifts sometimes, like during holidays and shit. For what?
That's a travesty during the holidays.
Yo, bro, you know,
like $2 overtime?
I worked Christmas, Thanksgiving, not New Year's. I would never work New Year's, but Christmas and Thanksgiving, I would stay from 4 till 4 in the morning to get the overtime, thinking, oh, I'm gonna make fucking money. I'm 18, you know, get all this shit. The checks would come out to be like maybe $50 more.
All of it reduced.
Yeah, because of all the taxes,
especially in the state of New Jersey.
One time
it's not sustainable.
I made like $260 in taxes, but only got like $260 in overtime, but only got like 30 of it on my check because 200 got taken out, and then 15 went to my 401, and then another 10 went to some other shit, and then 5 went to some other state tax.
Yeah, it's crazy how much. I mean, I don't blame obviously the state or any of that. That's what they have to take. Whatever they have to take. Yeah. But for these companies to be like, yo, stay and try to manipulate you to do it, you're gonna get more money. You're gonna get this. You're gonna get that. You really don't.
That's why it's very important that when you get introduced to that negotiation table, you take advantage of that, because you as an employee got yourself to get to that table, and you get to declare what your worth is.
Well, remember, look, like by the time you were already gone, I was there at McDonald's. I was like the manager of the afternoon.
You were at McDonald's too?
Yeah, I worked with him for a little bit. And I quit.
Was it Vic there too?
Senior.
Little Victor?
Rivero, yeah.
Yeah, okay. yeah.
He left as well.
Yeah.
I was there. I was manager of the afternoon always. 24/7. That was just my shift. That's what I wanted to do. But new managers started coming in, right? Because they needed mornings, they needed night shifts. And I was finding out, bro, I'm making the exact same amount as a new manager when I was there for already like 2 years. 2 years experience ahead of them. What the fuck is going on? So by the time I hit my third year and a half was when I started having problems with the general manager and his fucking bitch of an assistant. He was so fucking annoying. She'd be the one that's talking shit behind your back. And then when she sees you, oh, hola, ¿cómo estás? Everything good? Everything okay? Fuck that bitch. Every time she was there, we would always get into a fight.
I don't do that. I can't stand to be two-faced in a work environment.
No, me neither. Because whenever she would come in, because I knew, I don't want to make accusations, but you can kind of tell that they were too close.
There's certain connotations.
Yeah, you were there. You would see it.
Body language, yeah.
He saw it. we saw it like they were too close. They were too kind of grabby sometimes. They were talking weird shit, flirting, this and that. And it's like, that's favoritism. You know, she's the assistant to the general manager, making...
It's just also inappropriate to
It
have
is.
that type of relationship with anyone.
Making $20 an hour, now making...
regardless of your assistant, regardless of your gender.
Yeah, how could you expect anybody to want to work in these places?
Exactly.
Yeah, and when it's so apparent like that,
right.
it's disgusting, and it's just like it makes you have a certain apathy for that work environment, and the tolerance that you have just starts getting lower and lower.
Exactly, and then the people around me were just saying, like, "Don't leave, just stay, bro. It's whatever. Like, just
What? So
ignore
we
them."
can be friends.
Exactly.
My brother got
No.
hired. Yeah, my brother got hired at UPS. Didn't even last a week.
That job was hard.
He showed up. He was giving the pep talk, giving the whole rundown. Like, hey, yo, he's like, hey, look at him. He worked his way. He worked his way up, and you can be part of the union. You might become a driver.
He didn't tell me he was there 15 years.
right. You can be making 6 figures, man. Yada yada yada. Look at that. He was just like you. He was loading trucks just like you. And look at him now. Right? They always use the pro
one guy. That one.
Right. And then come to find out, like the second day my brother's there, some guy's walking around, right, puffing his chest up, and he's like, telling me, like, because he's the kind of guy that, like, yeah, I tell you the truth, and I don't give a fuck, I'll tell you, I'm straight
Okay.
up. He's like, hey man, look, I was here, it's not about who you, it's not about what, it's about who you know, it's about who you know, man, and that's how I'm here. So he's like, so what that other guy told me was complete. I'm like, oh God, it never happens. I'm not going to become a driver. Like you come to once you come to grips with that immediately, you're not going to work at those places, man. It's fucked up because it like he said, you develop this apathy towards the work environment, and it doesn't motivate you to want to work.
Yeah.
If you're going to encounter that every single time at every single place, the nepotism and the favoritism and all that, the politics, it's people just want to work, man. That's it.
Yeah.
I think, when you get to those more important roles in those jobs, it gets too emotional. It's too attached.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that's when all the problems start coming in, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I have a girlfriend that works here. Let me help her out. Oh, I have a friend that's coming in. Let me give him a little bit of this. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But it keeps happening. I think that's why, when was it, last summer, that 4 million people like quit jobs? Because they started realizing, like, yo, I'm working at Wendy's, making $12 an hour for what?
Why do you think so many companies started paying $15 an hour?
Yeah, immediately. Remember McDonald's, when I left, we were making...
Did they up it? Yeah, they did, right?
Bro, we were making... I was making $16.25. I had to ask for that 25 cents. I had to, like, fight for that shit because they were going to give me 16 like every regular other manager. No, I was there for way longer than some of these new managers, and I closed by myself. Give me my 25 cents, whatever. They gave me $16.50, I think. And then we had all those problems. It was us. It was a group of us. We had all those fucking problems. They were talking shit behind our backs. They were setting us up for failure, basically. And we all decided to quit, like a good 6-7 of us, for the afternoon. They had nobody. They made.
And it's not like you own the restaurant. Like, it's not like that shit was your pride and joy.
Yeah.
But like, you weren't gonna fucking let everything run into the ground for no fucking reason. Like, you guys had pride in your work.
Yeah, I mean,
and then that's where it goes. You constantly get berated, and you constantly have to fight for things that, not that they should be given to you, but like shit like that. That's obvious. Like someone coming in recently, just gonna get paid the same amount as you.
Yeah, no,
have that. Not that you have that tenure, but
that
you've
is
been
not
there for a decent amount of time.
Exactly.
And then for you to request something and still get berated or have pushback on it or have a combativeness, that's kind of fucking inappropriate, and just that's kind of like that shows how much they care about you as an employee, because you're not, unfortunately. Every McDonald's is part of the franchise, but it's not part of the same chain.
No.
And that's what it comes down to, and that's why they'll never get unionized.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the employees that are still working there, I'm friends with a lot of them. They're telling me that after we left, they bumped it up to 15 minimum for everybody. For every employee. It was at 13. So that was a big jump. 15 and then 16 for overnight. And the managers are making 17 an hour. That's disgusting. Because I'm making 17 at Lidl.
But you see all these legitimate grievances that we have in regards to the workforce. This immediately gets discouraged by
Everybody.
boomers, and they say, or Gen X people, oh, these lazy kids, they just don't want to work.
Oh yeah,
No.
That's not what it is.
We don't want to work in an unfair environment. That's such a fucking.
It's not even too much to ask you,
Yeah,
man.
it's
I've had 2 positions. One of them, I'm not going to say it's the one that I have now. I have a certain, I have a connection, let's say, and just leave it at that. But the other one I got on my own, and I got to a point where I became like the lead packer out of all these people that were mid 30s, late 40s, whatever. And there was this guy that was double my age. And it wasn't that we had a problem. He just didn't like that I was younger than him and I was his boss. So every time there was something, it was always, oh, I think I got a better idea than that.
Oh my god, I can see it already.
Trying to one up me or something. I'm like, let's do it how I say. And then if I ever said that, it was, why you gotta talk to me like that, man? I'm like, what are you doing? There was this one day in specific where we were on a time crunch and we had to get a certain amount of packages out. And I had sent him to go do something on his own. And he just had to put this one card in like 100 boxes.
Okay.
And how long would you guys think that would take? If it's just a card you're opening? Next.
Bro, like 15 minutes?
Exactly. It took him he was at half an hour and not even done yet. So I sent someone else to go help him, and he throws all the cards on the floor. He's like, yo, I told you I didn't need no help. And it wasn't about me trying to demean him or anything. I was on a time crunch. I needed him and the other person to be on an assembly line. I needed his hands. I didn't need him. I needed someone else in that spot.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get that done faster so he could come back. And then that happened. And then there was an HR mediation. The manager who was my supervisor was like, let's see how you do. So I had full control of that meeting. And it basically boiled down to, Carlos, I can't have you speak to me like that in front of everyone else in the warehouse. And then it got to a point where he was just like, oh, that's how it is. That's how it is. I'm like, what do you mean that's how it is? And then that's when my other managers cut in and they were like, listen, we're developing Xavier so-and-so to become a manager, and you should know that as an employee, you can't speak to people that are higher up than you. Not that he is higher up than you, but to anyone else in general.
But the fact that you even have to explain, yes, he is the manager, he is higher up than you.
Yeah.
You have to treat him with a certain amount of respect, man. It's just how hierarchy works.
And that's what my thing is too, is because if you're mid-30s, mid-40s, this shouldn't be new to you.
No, you should know this shit.
Exactly. You're creating a problem. Some of them used to also not clock out for their lunch or clock in for their lunch, and I was doing it all the time, and I was like, yo, these guys get paid for their lunch. And I was just like, what the fuck? And they were trying to get me to do something about it. Me. I just came into
my time. Clock me out.
No, like the upper manager was trying to get me to have them take their breaks.
Now, as a manager, were you involved with, were you physically doing the labor, or did you just oversee it? Okay.
There was
No, is that what the job just, did it ask you to do that, or?
I got hired on as an executive assistant.
Okay.
I had nothing to do with warehousing. I was hired upstairs in corporate. I was doing expense reports and just documentation and filing. I didn't really fuck with it. I hated school, so I hated coming into a place where I had to work and sit in a computer.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
All the executives behind me. I was the only one facing this way. All the executives were behind me.
Like,
what are you doing? How are you up to? You know how like your teacher would grab you?
Is everything okay?
That sucks, man.
After a while, she noticed that I just didn't like it, and she told me, "How would you be interested in dealing with our shops and sending out orders?" And so that's what I did. There was a warehousing section where it was for drop shipping and fulfillment. So I just picked up like maybe a shirt here and a hat there, maybe some pens, whatever. Put that in a box, sent it out. They saw that I was good at it. And then they put me into the regular packing. What the regular packing was when they would do things in bulk. So t-shirt, hat, notebook, bottle, all in a box, all designed, whatever, to be part of whatever that company was. So whether it be Google, Facebook, maybe some realty things around here because they were stationed around here at the time. But basically I was good at that. They put me on the line. I was able to work well with everyone. Later down the line, they made me lead packer because the lead packer before had quit. So that was just the role that I had. And I would come in an hour before everybody else, set up the assembly lines, and then I would deal with I would still do all that fulfillment. Like I would, and the thing with the fulfillment is that it was also part of the people in the warehouse's job to do. So before, when I first went in there, I was alleviating a whole responsibility off the staff. Then when I became manager and set up everything, I alleviated that and also held certain responsibilities just so they could only focus on assembly line shit. And that was all I had them do. And even though I was super good at that, they hired a warehouse manager for the December to February period because that was holiday season, whatever. And he was shit. I didn't like him because I personally resented it because I was like, that should be my position. You guys should put me, because I was fucking warehouse associate at that point. I wasn't lead packer.
Right.
They made me lead packer, but they didn't give me the title.
Position.
Yeah. And so
They do that on. Oh man,
They do that everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's. Oh.
And that's the sad truth because that title is that's the only thing you can put on the fucking resume. Like, it doesn't matter what you put as your duties or your responsibilities or what the fuck you've done.
Right.
It's what you can do and what position and how high up can you lead the people that we need to be led,
Right.
or whatever. They need a sheep herder, and that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I let him time himself out because at some point we got into a spat because he saw that he knew I was complaining about him. And he came up to me one day and he was just like, "Listen,
Shut the fuck up.
I don't want to have any problems with you. You're a young dude. I'm double your age. We can."
Hey, what does that have to do with anything?
Exactly.
Every time
Exactly.
I'm older than you. Shut the fuck up.
It's like the equivalent of a teenager while you were growing up. Oh, respect your elders, dude. You're 17. I'm 12.
But so I go and I tell him. He tells me, "Oh, but that doesn't mean we can't work together. We're both professional. Let's work together more. Just leave out this next shipment of 100 out on the tables for me, and I'll have them delivered." So I did some dickhead shit.
You sabotaged.
Yes, and I don't care because I'm not working there anymore. But what happened was I did lay them out.
Right.
The way the layout for this room was there was shelves here, and then there were more tables down this line.
Mm-hmm.
He told me to lay out the boxes. I laid them out here, and I laid 2 columns of boxes here, and he had assumed that this was for storage. So the next day I come in knowing that he's gonna make that fuck up, and I go and I look.
This is great.
Oh, they're there. And I go run to my director, and I'm like, he forgot the bathroom. And then she goes up to the CMO, the CEO, and starts telling him "Oh, he fucked this up. He's got to go back and drive him this morning." He gets in. They tell him, and he's like, "Oh shit, Xavier, you didn't have those out yesterday." I'm like, they're exactly where they've been. I didn't even move them off the shelf to put them on the table to try and pretend that I left them right there. I was like, and I told you that they were all there. He's like, shit, I gotta go deliver those now. And so that's what he did. And while he was going on his Superman drive to New York, the director came down and she was mad as shit. She gave me flashbacks of Machado with how authoritative she was.
Right.
But she came down and she was just, "Xavier, tell me all the shit that he can't do." And I was just like, "Oh, well." And then I was like, this. He fucks up on this. I have to redo this when he fucks it up. I have to redo this when it fucks it up. And he was gone that week.
You're a dickhead.
I don't care.
But you did a good job.
I don't care.
You did a good job. You're a sneaky mother.
Survival of the fittest, man.
Oh, how it is, bro. We gotta survive out here. Yo, all this talk about work, the resentment, the fucking resentments I have to some people.
Well,
and
it was a really bad time too, because on that job also I had quit because of COVID. At that job, and it wasn't because I didn't want to wear my mask or because I didn't believe in COVID not being real or I didn't want to get vaxxed, whatever. It was because we were working and they sent all the people upstairs. They were like, "You guys can work from home." everyone else. I mean, it makes sense. The warehouse
Right.
still needs people in there to work, but the apathy of like, we don't really give a fuck what happens to these people because there were no protocols put in place. Everything operated as normal. No one was told to put on a mask.
Yeah,
no one was told to sanitize. None of that shit.
You get
Every-
sued for that stuff.
exactly, but it had just dropped. It had
Yeah.
just dropped. Like that's when the period.
Like-
Right. You know, there's a period where people were like, "Oh shit, this fuck,
yeah,
this is
this was-
scary." You know
we
what
were
I
like
mean?
in the realization period where the protocols weren't really that enforced yet. But we had someone come in from Florida just then, and in hindsight, we knew that, or we know now that Florida was like a hot spot.
Yeah, ground zero for
Exactly.
the American.
And people were just partying in general, whatever. And then I had a manager who kept coming in that was sick, coughing, and saying, "Oh, I feel a little." And then he make these sly comments like, "I gotta, don't stay away from me, guys. I live with my grandma."
COVID or not, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. You don't do that shit at the workplace, man.
He was just, but he was theatrical and he was
Right.
terrible. And one of our other directors who had been there days before had tested positive, and they didn't close anything down. And so I was fed up that day, and they that day the deadline for what we were working on was Friday. So on top of all that other stuff, they then told me that the deadline was that day, and I was just like, no, you're not gonna do this to me. I would think I was 19 at the time. It's like, I don't need this type of stress. I'm leading this fucking warehouse. I'm gonna leave right now, and you guys are gonna realize, and I'm not gonna come back. The whole aftermath of me walking out, I felt so powerful. Like, and it was because I came out, and first the other old head that was there, who I was like cool with, and he smoked weed and everything. It was like really buddy with me. He was always calm, and he was like, "Come on, man, you're gonna quit over that?" I'm like, "Yo, you're in the whole separate section of the warehouse, and you don't compare to me. Like we don't do the same thing,
Right.
And I'm half your age doing triple your work. Don't fucking compare." He's like, "All right, whatever, bro. I'm losing a lot of respect for you right now." Like, I don't give a fuck. You're not my dad. Who the fuck?
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because it hurts your feelings. I'm not. You know, come on, man.
And
When
then-
people make themselves the criterion for reality.
Like
It's
the
like,
victims.
Unfortunately, I don't want to disclose where the locations are, but I lived really close to that job at one point. And they had came right out, and went to my house and called me while I was in here.
They did that?
Yeah,
You never
yeah.
told us that. Damn, they did that?
They called me, and it was one of my managers, and he basically told me like I shouldn't quit. And that if it's about the money, that he'll try to talk to the CEO and
you'll try to talk to him.
and have the money off his salary siphoned onto mine.
Bullshit. No one would ever do that
Exactly.
shit for anybody.
And
How stupid! Oh my!
I don't know.
God.
I don't know if it was one, that stupidity that you're talking about, or two, the bullshit, or three, it was because he knew he was losing out on somebody that could do the work under his watch. Because it was just him.
yeah.
Like he
Third
was the
option.
highest. He was the
Right.
highest up in that room or in that building at the time.
It was desperation. He
Yeah.
was desperate.
And then I had my director call me, and she was talking. Everything was a backhanded comp or
She's like, well, you were
statement.
good, but not that
And
good.
then they were like, "Oh, you're gonna throw everything away now? COVID just happened. You know how many people are killing themselves because they can't get jobs and like
More gaslighting.
Exactly, exactly, and that's what I was gonna say. It's like that's like you can't say that to somebody. Like that's just you're trying to scare me into coming back to you. And then even then, if I came back and they did give me a raise, my whole thought process was that would have been hush money. The next time that I had a slip up, or the next time that I wanted to maybe
Yeah.
debate a point,
You're out.
that's it.
You're out. Yeah.
Like, we already cut you some slack for fucking walking out on us. Like, the next time you do some shit, you're gone.
yeah.
And that
Another
was-
form of gaslighting. Oh, well, we did this for you. Like, don't do it again. We were willing, out of the
We're really
good conscious of our
past
mind.
it.
Yeah, oh my god, like
It's a rubber
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. Like, just like not even like how many, like you said, like how's life after high school? It's just
That's how it is.
but already, man, we've encountered so much life, and
It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
Have you moved out yet? Are you
I'm still living with my
Okay,
parents.
so I recently, like this month, right? I was living with him and my father and his family, his wife, the kids. I was living there. You know, things weren't working out because I would fight with them a lot, my parents and all this shit. So I knew I had to move out, right? Work was kind of slow. I mean, I just started at that place, and I was like, "Fuck, I gotta do something. Like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I don't know what I'm gonna do." I was having all those problems with them. I have a car, and so I have insurance. I have my phone bill. I just have a bunch of shit to pay. Oh, then and school. I went to Lincoln Tech for about half a year. I didn't really fuck with it.
That's the trade school, right?
Yeah. It was what's his name? Alfredo.
Alfredo, yeah.
And this guy over there. Yeah, and they would always see me.
Good old
They were always cool. I just didn't like it. It wasn't something I wanted to do. So from when I quit 3 years ago, $200 a month, every month, still paying off that school, right? So I had that. So in total, I was paying like over $1,200 in bills that are mine, that are just mine. I was scared about a lot of shit. I was, I had a girlfriend at the time. I was dealing with that shit. You know, my mom is living in a studio, so I'm thinking about that. I'm like, what do I do? I ended up finding a room, right? I wasn't kicked out of the house. It was just, we had an argument, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm leaving. I'm tired of this shit. Like at work, when you just quit like that.
Yeah.
I was staying over at friends' houses for a little bit. I was sleeping in the car and this shit. I find my place, right? I start cleaning it up. I feel like things are coming back together. You know, I'm still having problems with my parents, and I still have bills to pay, and now rent, and now this, and now that. This whole month has just been nonstop worry. And then on top of that, the nail in the coffin, the shit that really drove me to like straight up depression. It's not even that important. I broke up with my girlfriend a year or something with her, just like 2-3 weeks ago, and I have to deal with all that shit, you know. And I realized I go back to thinking about high school and how about we used to chill, you know, no worries, no nothing, no. And it's like, damn, it really does hit you hard. Right
One of
after
those days, X, at the buffet, man.
We gotta go do a buffet. Me, you, and Victor. Who else was with us?
Francisco.
There you go, Francisco.
Man, those were the days. And you know, it's funny you bring that up. I remember when I first met Lewis was in algebra freshman year. Now, as you're aware, I'm fat. So, well, I wasn't as fat my freshman year. And, you know, me and Lewis, you know, we kind of clicked, right? You know, we were talking about comics and, you know, shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Now, I got a haircut.
Yo, I remember.
I got a haircut, and Lewis sat right behind me. And, you know, Miss Miranda she was annoying as fuck. So, like, any little thing was like, hey, stop talking. So I had to shut up and deal with this. The entire fucking 40 minutes of the class was him constantly taking his pencil and swiping the back of my fucking neck. I was like, fucking bastard, I'll do it again. And one day, I finally got that seat behind me. I was see how you like it, motherfucker.
Yo, but he grabbed everything. Whatever you found on the floor. Whatever you found on the floor.
Oh my god, dude, those are some memories.
Anger.
Yeah, after that, we just didn't sit next to each other. Oh man.
When me and him had algebra, we were just making each other laugh to try to get us.
Do you know?
out of class.
Do you know that teacher,
Mr.
Jimenez?
Yeah.
From
I had him first period my junior year, right?
We had
Short guy, right? Yeah.
There was one day I stepped over the line and I told him that he looked like Arthur.
I remember I was arguing with somebody, and we were like about to have a test or whatever. It was like some kind of quiz. He's like, and then he was talking to me. I didn't know he was talking to me, but I was talking to somebody else, and I happened to say the N-word, and he goes, oh, and by the way, I'm not a and I was like, whoa, I'm not talking to you. Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Oh my, and of course, yeah, dude, shit. He's like, and I'm not a I was like, all right, I'm aware. But I was just so baffled because the entire class was looking at me, and I was like, What? I didn't say the hard ER. I was talking to Alex Sordo. Okay. So I was like, fuck, man. It's. Oh my god, it's just so many fucking memories.
Yo, the teachers in freshman academy, especially in Holy Marty, were fucking obnoxious, bro. Remember the lunch ladies that would come up to you if you would just talk a little too extra loud?
Right. Yeah, it's. Oh my god, that whole school is fucking. Summer school was cool, but and then it was like, oh well, they're
Oh, I loved you in summer school. You gave us a free period almost every other day.
Yeah.
Oh,
What was it, Rojas we had? Yeah.
He was the best.
He'd say something stupid, and I'd challenge him, and he'd fucking take the entire period. And it's funny is that he gave us the ammunition every single day. And so it's like you're gonna keep it up, and then you're gonna complain why nobody's working, why nobody's focusing on the book at hand. Because he'd take every topic, and then somehow, some way, it was Donald Trump's fault.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right.
It was good though that there was an exchange of dialogue because most people would just be like, shut up.
Right.
Look, do the work. Like,
Yeah.
And they would just dismiss you. But he took it seriously, and there was a debate. And every time that bell rang, it was like, wait. Oh, it's over.
Right, his ego was unbelievable, man. I used to challenge him on everything.
For the way he looks too, bro. He's another Arthur, bro.
No, but he was
The fat,
he
short,
was
bald guy?
Yeah, what? Yeah, the goatee.
He's still there.
I'm gonna visit him.
He got mad at me one day because I was like, dude, he talks about gaming, and now listen, I have no problem with people and their extracurricular things that they do, right? Everybody likes playing video games. How old is Rojas? Like what? 48? 52, whatever. And I was like, dude, you have no children. And he's like, what? He turned like fucking like an apple. Like, why don't you have any children? I was like, and you're playing Spider-Man PS4 with fucking teenagers.
I would have got secondhand embarrassment just.
Can you imagine being in that kind
What do you respond with?
He was baffled. I was like,
sit down.
oh my god.
Yo.
Yeah, he made everything about politics. Yeah, I had Mr. Trust Palacios. Remember, he walked in. They must have had a fucking 20-minute break at the beginning of the period. I mean, a 20-minute argument at the beginning of the period, and it took up the whole fucking classroom. He just can't stop. He can't admit when he's wrong either.
Is he Hispanic?
He's Cuban.
He's against Trump? That's funny.
It is a spectacle because the majority of Cubans in Union City are fucking
They were
Trump
super
fanatics.
pro-Trump.
Yeah.
It was crazy that he put himself in the same bracket as all the other Hispanics that were against Trump.
Right.
Because it wasn't the same thing at all.
Yeah.
And he wears that hat. He rides his bike. He's an interesting character.
Bro, 42.
He's got his
No
favorite-
kids. Yo, I feel bad.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, I was like, you're robbing yourself of the joys of being a man and life. And I was like, he'd rather play Spider-Man than make love to his wife.
I would have just sat down at my desk like.
Can you imagine contemplating crying in front of the whole class?
I was like, dude, you'd rather wag your finger at MSNBC and CNN at Donald Trump than you would fucking wanting to have children.
He's married?
He's married.
think so.
He's married. He's got children. I mean,
He's got a wife.
Flip of the tongue. He's got a wife. No children. Excuse me.
You gotta ask him if he has kids now.
He doesn't even know me. I had him. He's like, "Who are you?" We did Zoom, and I was the student that answered the questions. I was like,
And he had...
yeah, like we were reading Midsummer Night's Dream. Like, oh, this lady said, "Oh, this inconsistent man." Like, what does she mean by that? It's like, oh, this man cheats on her and like doesn't. I was giving him the smart answers.
Yeah.
And I was showing my face, and he's like, "Who are you?"
Damn, yo.
That means that they were just trying to get by, man. That Zoom
But
shit
you
was
didn't,
probably
you didn't
killer for
like
them.
say, "Hey, from Zoom," or like,
I told him like I had you on Zoom like last year. He's like, "Did you?" Dude, I found it. Mr. Rojas, like, who? It's-
Oh, my
Wow.
goodness.
And I mean, it's
maybe
talk
I don't
about
remember you.
stuff like this. Before I jumped right into my fucking life story. Sorry for doing that.
No, you're
it's an honor to be on this podcast, guys. It's
No, it's fucking
just
awesome.
right, but You heard about that girl that died, man?
Yo,
There's been a lot of deaths.
yeah.
There's
But
been a
that-
lot-
Really? I thought that was the only one.
no, there's been a lot of deaths.
I'm sorry to word it that way.
No, 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 no.
I thought it was being sarcastic.
No, I swear I was nothing. It's good you noticed that, dude. I immediately had to crack because somebody might watch this and be like, "Wow, this guy's out of his fucking
Yeah,
mind."
maybe we'll edit that in a way so where
No, leave it. It wasn't bad. It wasn't.
Yeah. So it was her, right?
Yeah,
And who was the other person?
there was another girl, and I'm pretty sure there's been a couple of these.
You told me that there was that girl. The other one was like an OD, right?
No.
Oh, I heard about that one.
There was one girl that
was it you
that
who
was
told me
just
that?
found, I think, and they didn't know what happened to her. They just
crazy.
found her body.
Yeah, but
Holy shit!
it's crazy to think going back that we had deaths during the high school.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
crazy.
man.
Yo, remember, not to bring this up, but you know he's a good friend of a lot of us. And you used to play football. He used to play football with every. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Sean.
Yeah, I know
like,
Sean.
he was
Sean,
the
I had
greatest-
Sean my
yo, he was
7th grade.
so friendly.
Right.
He clicked with everybody. It was so cool to be around him. And then to find out that he passed. You know, we were actually, me, Brian Reeves, Victor Sanchez, and a bunch of other people were going to go to Comic-Con with him the day before he passed. Like, the day after he passed away. And, like, when that shit hit us, bro, it hit us bad. Because, like, we were friends with that motherfucker, bro. He was, like, a great person. He was doing all the shit right in school. He had a
DECA,
great GPA.
right?
He had
Yeah.
DECA. He was, like, president of,
Yeah,
like, that
right.
shit.
That's
Going in
awesome, man.
extracurricular
That-
activities.
He was doing so much, and it was just a shame to lose such a good friend at that time.
When I heard about that, man, my heart sunk. I was like,
Yeah.
"Holy shit, man, that's
Yeah.
horrible."
I had fell asleep early the night before, so I didn't find out until the morning, and it was annoying. Like, and I don't mean to sound insensitive when I say that, but it was just like it didn't hit me, like, until I read all the messages. If that like sounds like it makes sense, because I saw the first 2 or 3 notifications on my phone, and I didn't really like you're bullshitting me,
Yeah.
or you're just saying dumb shit. And then it wasn't until I went on like Snapchat, and it was on everyone's story.
Mhm.
It was just everywhere, and I was just like, what the fuck? And I was best friends with the girlfriend too at the time, and it was so much for all of us at the time, and like I feel like, and I don't want to sound, I want to be very careful with how I word this, but it made a lot of us close in the community.
Mhm.
Just because a lot of people that didn't hang out with each other in general also started hanging out with each other, just
Right.
because of those connections, and it was just like they didn't know that they were in those circles. You know what I mean? So it really, I don't want to say it was good for the community, but everyone.
Well, for the
Got it
school at the
good.
time, man, because you know
Yeah.
it brings a lot of
And
awareness to people.
I was in like, I don't know if other people were in multiple classes with him, because that would probably be worse. But I had a history class with him, and we had the counselor come in, like, and he was more distraught than we were. Almost, it seemed like, because he was red and his skin was like pink, and you could see that he was just crying, like bawling.
Mhm.
And he was just telling everybody, like, shaky voice and everything too. He's a great guy, but he was just telling everybody, like, if you need someone to talk to, talk to me. I was his counselor. We'll have a session.
It was a big shame. It was just horrible at the time. Yo, and his poor mother. Who I hope.
I always when tragedies like that, I always think about the mother.
Yeah,
because
'cause
that
that's your
hits
child,
them the
bro.
most.
Yeah,
man.
it must.
It's sad.
We went to the wake, and shit you not, when I saw the body, it just obviously just doesn't look the same. It's not the same. There's no life in there, and then you start thinking, you start reminiscing in your head, and like, why?
I've been to 8 wakes
Yeah,
so far.
I'm
in my
sorry.
life. Yeah, well, yeah. On my
That's the
parents,
point, there's some
I'm on my father's side mainly,
desensitization.
right? Yeah, I think I went. I don't know if you know him, but Ivan, his mother passed. I went to go see his mother in the wake too, and
Okay.
and when you go to those places, I immediately say, I was like, that's gonna be me there one day, and it brings us. It's scary.
It's a
It
hard
really
reality.
is, man.
It's hard
It
to
makes
grasp.
my heart completely.
And I think grasping that reality is what brings everyone together. Is
right.
that we might not all be around for that much longer, but at least we've all connected, you know.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's the most important part. It's what we leave behind.
Yeah, it was awesome to at least be in high school with so many great people at the time, bro. We had our class, the ones that graduated with us, was one of the best groups out here. Like, well, maybe we didn't have the best grades, but we were all fucking.
It's not
with
what
each other.
mattered,
Yeah,
man.
no.
That's not what mattered.
It was the relationships that you made in there. It was the connections that you had with all these people, bro. Fucking we met you in freshman year.
Yeah.
Sean, we met in freshman year. Like all these Emerson and Union Hill kids came together in freshman year.
That was the beauty of it,
There
man.
was.
Every year, man. That freshman year, everybody
Everybody
together.
clicked Nikki, bro. Nikki,
Yes,
Prom
yes.
King.
Prom King,
Oh
bro.
my
the
God.
Lord of
The
Union
greatest.
City.
It's and at first I remember when I was, like you said, you got the texts and whatnot. I was in a kick group chat at the time, and
Kick.
I will take what happened in those group chats to the grave.
Worse than the
Let's put it that way. And when the news came out, like they were like, oh, you know, some kid died. I thought it was like a prank. It was like, this is either a joke or it was probably somebody who long ago graduated from the high school. So
Passed
they're
away,
using
yeah.
that, like, you know, they're using the person who died in Union City High School in the same breath. So I was like, yeah, I was kind of like indifferent to it. And then when they said it was Sean, I was like, whoa, man, saw him in school yesterday and the day before and last week, and it doesn't really hit you until afterwards. Like it's like a delayed reaction.
Yeah,
It's like
hard.
a shock and then
Yeah, you said
realization.
The going into school and then seeing everybody, like seeing people sporadically crying throughout each floor and every hallway, and it's just like that's what hits you. And then just like teacher, like everyone's just affected by it. It's not just like some people are just like, I don't give a fuck. Like all the teachers who are assholes weren't assholes that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone knew what was going on and everyone came together because of it. And I'm not gonna lie, I had like my own like I had really bad problems with it. I had like internal anger because it was just like Sean was doing so much, like we said, like with Deca and all these other extracurricular activities. So for him to be robbed of life was it felt like such a loss, not only to us but like to the world.
To the world.
And it's just like, and that goes on for all the other people that we've lost along the way. And I'm sorry to phrase it that way, but
No, but
it's kind of how it is.
that's how it is, man.
And a lot of them have been people that are like that are really go-getters and they're really about what they want to do in their future and they're really aspiring to be better. And to see that these tragic stories happen and how they unfold is disgusting.
It is. And it just goes to show you, bro. You gotta take advantage of the time. You really gotta take advantage of the time. Don't let anything go to waste with your friendships, your relationships, your family, your everything, bro. The shit that you work on. Like, you gotta leave some sort of legacy behind because it's worth something.
It's like passing the torch.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do for the next generation.
Yeah, it's some people are just ambivalent towards these tragedies, man, and it can't go unnoticed. I mean,
No,
it's good that
no.
we're
No, it's good to
doing
talk about
stuff
it.
like
Yeah.
this,
Yeah, I think
like this right here, this podcast.
Open discussions are always like, I think as long as you can get a dialogue for something, regardless of if it's uncomfortable or something that might not everyone, or if it might be an unpopular opinion. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
You know, it's everything should have a talking point. I
Well,
don't think anything should be dismissed without an open mind first.
That's what I tell everybody when I talk about this. Is like, this is something that we've been talking about doing for a long time, you know. And I think it was better now more than ever because everyone graduated. You know, we still follow each other on social media and this and that. It's like, might as well just bring them here, bro. Let's talk, see how they've been doing, see what's going on, see what shit is going on in Union City that they're concerned about. It's all that shit that we want to really dish out and show people. You know?
I mean, just look, we already have a lot in common already.
Yeah.
In regards to
Life is whatchamacallit, is translatable to all aspects of life.
Right.
To everyone else's life.
And I hope it helps people out. I mean, yo, like I said, this month for me was not one of the best, but we're out here trying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Julie's
power
trying.
through it, man.
Yeah,
Power
that's what
through
is.
it, man. It's
Xavier's
going
trying.
like there's an expression on 4chan. It's called white pill, stay white pilled, stay positive, man. Everything's going to play out, man. Just stay positive.
Hopefully.
That's it, man. Just
For all
power
of us.
through it.
That's
It's
what
all
that's
right.
my mentality has been. Instead of getting mad at work anymore or complaining to the suits, you know what? I don't get paid to worry about that shit.
True.
What stays in work, stays in
true,
work.
man.
Go home, play your games, play your Xbox, play whatever it is that you want to play.
Someone calls you after work hours, I'll be in at
Bye-bye.
8:30. Like,
Can you come in early? No. You working today on your day off? Fuck you. I'm not.
I think not.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people worry too much about the little things, man. Shit like that.
And that's what I
just
think
fucking.
too. A lot of people have that problem where they over exercise their worry in areas where they shouldn't, and not enough in other areas where they should.
It's the anxiety. It just builds up.
And I think it also comes back to what I've been saying for a long time now, is that a lot of people just settle. Some people just don't want more, or some people would rather just complain and say that I deserve this, and that, and don't do anything to get that. And that.
You get too comfortable. That's what it is. And when you get too comfortable, you stay in a cycle. That cycle doesn't end. You know, you're still gonna be complaining about the same shit. You're still gonna be in the same position.
I mean, I'll even admit. I mean, I'm guilty of this too. I mean, there's a lot that I need to work on.
Yeah.
I acknowledge it. Whether if it's gonna happen now or soon. I mean, I at least acknowledge it. Regardless of the procrastination, I understand that things need to get done, man.
It's always good
Everyone
to be
has their
self-aware
demons
about
and
it.
their vices.
It's always good to be self-aware. And I think more than anything, I think our generation of, young adults needs to focus more on their mental health more than anything. You know, we grew up with parents that were either somewhat abusive verbally or very toxic. You know, the environment that we come from, Union City, the Hispanic machismo, the this, the that, it's hard to... You know what I mean? It's hard to get ahead in life when all you have in your mind is like, oh, I'm gonna get beat up if I don't do this right or something. Right, shit like that. I think it's good to work on your mental health more than anything, and just stop worrying about the little shit. It's gonna go. It's gonna pass.
Yeah, and a lot of people just, a lot of people say that it's not that easy, and it's not supposed to be that
It's
easy.
not.
That's why it's a different timetable for everybody. There's
Yeah.
not a timetable on how to live your life. Only you decide. So when you start taking those reins is when things will either change for the best or
For
the worst. So
And we
you just
hope
gotta
it's
take
not the
life
worst.
with what you get.
Yeah,
It's just a luck of the cards. Sorry.
I don't think it's luck of the cards. It's just
Luck of the draw.
it's how you play it out.
Yeah.
If you want to play it out the right way, it's gonna go the right way.
It's like it's strategy.
Yeah.
You gotta lay everything out where your goals are, and you gotta actually work towards your goals. Because you can put in 8 hours for your job, but what happens when you get home and you put 0 hours into your own goals?
Mental health, your life, your
Right, but this is I like I told him on
Yeah.
Instagram. I was like, this is insane. I was like, I've been wanting to do this for a very long time. I was like, I want to have a setup, a PC, a computer, have a mic, and I want to talk shit on the internet for a living. That is one of my goals. And to see you guys doing this, man, it's impressive and it's awesome. It's awesome to see. And I thank you very much for
No, bro.
Allowing me.
Anytime, bro. Anytime you want to come back, you already know. You know the schedule. You can hit us up at any time. And it's just thank you for all the compliments. Thank you for fucking listening to all the bullshit we got to say. And thank you for sharing your life experiences since we have graduated. It was an honor. How long have
We're at
have we been
117.
here? 117?
We can a little 10 more minutes.
You think so?
Yeah. Oh, I just want to say something. It's guys, and I'm joking when I say this. Enjoy the time while you have now, because we are all going to die in nuclear holocaust because of President Joe Biden. Okay,
Alright.
I'm looking directly at the computer. We're gonna die. No, I'm
I
kidding.
am a threat.
But
Oh, man.
it's just life has been a roller coaster, and I've been trying with what I can.
Yeah,
I only
everybody has.
recently just got this room. I used to sleep in the basement. You gotta fight for everything.
Well, it's a nice room, man. That collection's pretty badass. Look,
Yeah.
my cousin has an insane color. He's got like a shelf, but it's not. He doesn't have as much of those figurines as you do, but the other figures he customizes it and shit. It's like,
Oh, that's fucking badass.
yeah.
How many-
I think I'll send him your IG.
How many rows back do you think that is? because there are rows behind that. I don't know if you thought that was just one.
I'm gonna guess 7.
No, it's
That's
three.
It's 3. Okay. I was just making sure because I didn't know the length.
You're good. But, there is a fucking decent amount, man.
What are those called again?
Funko Pops.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one too. I took that one out of the box, and I got some out there too. But most of them I collect with my brothers. Those up there, those are the special ones. Those in the clear cases and the blue boxes too.
Oh, that's badass. Where'd you guys get those?
I got those from Barnes and Nobles.
They're cheap too.
They are?
Yeah.
I don't know if no, not Barnes and Nobles. Bed Bath and Beyond. Sorry.
Bed Bath and Beyond has that.
Yeah, because
That's not bad, man. That's pretty badass.
Weird.
My stepdad had bought them for me, I believe, for like 2 for $15. I have
That's not bad at all.
I think I have 2 behind those things. They got a Captain America one over there. Something.
Wait, speaking of pop culture and shit, I don't think we ever got to talk about this. Did you watch No Way Home? Because I know you're a big fan of Marvel too.
Listen, my gripe with superhero movies, I could literally talk about this all day long. My critiques, everything. I enjoy superficially. I did enjoy No Way Home.
Officially.
Yeah, well, like surface level, it was entertaining and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's like, oh, it's trash. I'm gonna
Yeah,
nitpick
yeah.
at everything. Obviously, no movie's gonna be perfect. I loved it. It was great. It was a great movie. My only gripe with the movie is how there was no direct exchange of words or, interaction between Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Willem
Green
Dafoe's Goblin.
Yeah.
He stabbed him and doesn't even say anything. It's like he's like an NPC. He doesn't even talk. He just stares at him. I was expecting like, hey, Peter, Harry Osborn, and Harry died. You know what I mean? I was like, but people were like, oh well, it's Tom's movie, and he's like, oh, it's Tom's movie, and Green Goblin's supposed to be his specific villain. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? No. These are Tobey Maguire's villains, okay?
These universes were built.
And me and my brother were talking about this when, like, directly after the movie, too. We were like, okay, so the Norman Osborn, Peter Parker, Harry Osborn relationship was a 3-movie plot, if you watch the original trilogy. Willem Dafoe, Norman Osborn is in every single movie, right? He's the ghost, right? Harry Osborn turns to the Goblin, right? It's a very personal relationship for Peter Parker. Yeah. And for them to be in front of each other and not say anything, that's my only critique of the movie, and I will take back it doesn't matter that fucking Doctor Strange looked weak and got completely defeated by Spider-Man in the mirror dimension. I'll bypass that. As long as I get that scene, and it turns out when the Blu-ray edition comes out that there's allegedly a deleted scene between them. I'm praying that's it.
Well, what's crazy
it's sad that you have to
right, that sucks.
That didn't get into the original cut when the movie was that long.
Even Doc Ock had the interaction with Peter.
That was cool.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
And I was expecting that between him and Willem Dafoe, and I didn't get it. I was like, so I watched the movie. I grew up on the first movie. Like I watched all three, but the first movie I used to watch over and over again as a kid. So like Willem Dafoe and the voice and the laugh, and the apartment fight was insane. That was badass. I was like,
on top of him with the
right, and then he punches him, and he's talking to him, and
the power.
I was like, holy shit, we're back. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, this is so cool.
This is good fight choreography.
Yeah. Right, exactly, because we're normally hip to the Tom Holland webs up his opponent, flips him out.
A couple swings here.
Right.
Some constant cuts.
It wasn't the like he said. It was the fight choreography that was like Sam Raimi's version of And what do you guys think of the new Batman movie?
It was good. We liked it. We fucking watched.
I do think they could have saved maybe 30 minutes, 20 in screen time if they just like all those pauses where he was just kind of like staring before he said something.
Yeah.
Or people, it seemed like there was just a delay when people were like reacting to other people. Like I don't know what it was to me. I just felt like certain things were a little dragged out. But overall, I think the movie was good. The plot was nice because it wasn't his startup story. It was kind of like
he'd already been Batman. I heard
maybe a year or two, and he's just getting his symbol to instill fear in criminals of Gotham and all that.
Well, I've heard my criticisms of the movie are based off of other people's criticism. I'm going to be be completely honest. I didn't see the movie yet.
Oh, you didn't watch it yet?
No, I didn't watch it yet.
Okay.
And people were like, "Oh, it's emo Batman," and it's taken it seriously. And somebody said that he completely shrugged off a gunshot, and he like that's insane, right?
I've seen.
He just he got shot and just it didn't even phase him type shit, and people were like, kind of like iffy about that.
He took little pauses though. Like he got shot, he's like, "Ugh," and then he goes on.
It's like if you know Batman, you know he's got $3 million into his fucking chest.
Yeah.
Like,
That's true. I mean, you shouldn't really have to explain that. But
Yeah, exactly.
people like nitpicking, and it's
Well, in the scene, he did take a lot of bullets in that scene where it goes on and off the lights.
Yeah.
And then shooting at, he was taking straight up. A shotgun to his chest.
At some point, he does take a shot and fall though. So like
Okay.
there is continuity within like bullets
Yeah, because
and recoil and all of that.
Yeah.
right. I mean, and the new Batman is I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big Zack Snyder fan because I'm a huge I love the Watchmen movies. If you watch the fight scenes in that movie,
Yeah, we love that.
dude, like the beginning scene when Ozymandias breaks into the apartment, starts fighting with the comedian. I mean, the martial arts in that it's insane, man. It's so cool.
Great.
And I liked Batfleck. They call him Batfleck.
I like them too.
I didn't hate him.
I didn't hate him.
Dark Knight
It
Returns,
was
basically.
it was, but it was the story. It just sucked.
The writing was pretty
The writing
bad.
was awful.
The Snyder cut of Justice League was pretty good. And
He
people,
tells me the same thing. I can't.
didn't see it?
I did watch some of it. I
Isn't
can't
it
agree.
double?
But you didn't see the dream thing?
I saw it at the end. That was pretty cool.
that was
pretty
cool
tight.
as hell. And hearing Batman, I know it's edgy, but he said the F word.
Don't you kind of get mad that Martian Manhunter just comes out of fucking nowhere?
Right.
I'm gonna help you now.
But it was
Not
not yesterday.
yesterday.
Martian Manhunter. Like, wouldn't you
I
want to
guess.
see him?
Yeah, but I mean now, bro, when we had fucking
Now I
Doomsday,
have to watch this
2 weeks ago.
You know, I watched the original one, and I feel like in the original one, they had like 3 scenes where they showed him doing shit, but they didn't explain it to you, and he didn't do anything
yeah.
else in the movie.
Who?
Martian Manhunter. In the original cut. I don't think he did anything.
The trailer had a bunch of. Remember the
I
trailer
think they
had a
just
bunch
showed
of
him
that.
do shit, and then it didn't explain what he was doing. What he did wasn't a direct effect to the plot. And I was just like, why the fuck are they showing us what he's doing? Like, it's not doing anything for the plot or the movie. Like, unless I missed something or I fell asleep for a portion of it.
Nah, Justice League was pretty trash. the
It was
original.
way better than Joss Whedon's. And then to hear, we're not continuing.
Did you
Zack
hear about
Snyder.
Ezra Miller?
The
Flash.
actor,
Yeah,
I heard he did something.
he got
He
arrested.
got arrested in Hawaii, I believe.
And what did he do? He pointed a gun at somebody or threatened
I
somebody?
don't
harassment and-
think it was that to that
Um,
extent. I think it was a misdemeanor and I think harassment. Yeah, like he was saying.
I heard he the couple received death threats from him or something.
I have no idea.
That's what I heard. I mean,
But apparently they're pausing all his projects from here on out.
Yeah, all Flash related.
All Flash related projects are.
You fucking
paused.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Will Smith gets to slap somebody on stage.
Yeah.
and then they rebooted the Prince of Bel-Air.
And they made it a drama. Did you see that trailer?
They made it a drama with the
Yeah.
like a thug. That makes no sense.
I like it at all, bro.
That's stupid.
For a credible source, this is IGN Twitter. It says after Ezra Miller's recent arrest for disorderly conduct and harassment, following several incidents, not just one, in Hawaii, Warner Brothers and DC reportedly held an emergency meeting and agreed to pause all future projects with the star of The Flash and Fantastic Beasts.
Damn, how much money? How much money are they gonna lose from all that shit? Because the Flash movie is just about to come out.
Can companies
And there was supposed to be like a time thing where
It's Flashpoint, baby.
yeah, where
Yeah,
they were meeting
they're
with
and Michael
CW.
Keaton was supposed to be in
You hear his
it.
voice, you see the suit, you see the Batmobile.
Yeah, you see the fucking.
There's a lot of multiverse shit happening now.
Yeah, they did it though.
Opportunities.
They did it though because of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right,
They
right.
did
You
it
can see
because
it,
of
obviously. Yeah,
But you know
through
what
that
they can
inspiration,
do
of
now?
course.
That is potential for redemption because what they can do is I think what they're gonna do is they're probably just gonna reboot the Justice League because now they're just going down like flies.
Oh, yeah, they are.
But they
Each
just
one, yeah.
They just replaced Batman. Flash is in a bind, let's say, and it's just fucking. What do we have? Wonder Woman, Jason Momoa, and Cyborg, right? So
Yeah, Cyborg is not gonna
they'll
do
probably if they're doing this multiverse shit, they'll probably just end up going to Batman's dimension, probably or some shit like
it.
that.
I don't know, but to be honest, they got to reboot the whole thing. If they
If they don't reboot it, they like he said they got to retcon it and somehow
They gotta
get
do
the new
something.
Batman involved somehow.
They'll
Yeah.
just be like, let's flashpoint the Justice League to this Batman's world.
Well, they can do a lot of shit with that, and I heard, well, they were writing about Batgirl being in it instead of Batfleck. They're gonna recast, and they're gonna have Batgirl as the captain, and they're gonna have Supergirl, and they're gonna what's it called?
They're gonna just reboot it then. Please, I'm not sitting through
They're
that.
gonna PC all of DC universe basically.
I mean, if
Oh, Will Smith,
Oh, speak of the devil!
Shark Tales.
Wow,
that would
that
I'm very indifferent toward it.
I'm very disappointed.
Listen, if it makes money, they're probably gonna do it to reboot it again.
Well, you agree with me that the Snyder Cut was pretty badass. I liked it. I mean,
I slept through all 4 hours. It was amazing.
yeah. I watched it in intervals. My brother's like, all right, take this off. Just fucking getting sleepy.
Bobby's like, we gotta go to sleep. I was like, no!
Holy
I
shit.
couldn't. I don't know. I think it was just because my experience with the other Justice League was so bad that I was like, do I really want to sit through this? Like,
No, I don't like critiquing superhero movies on like I can't really tell the difference between like an Avengers movie, like isn't it supposed like it's superheroes fighting each other? It's you know what I mean? Oh, it's a terrible movie. Well, dude, I sat through it and enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's a terrible fucking movie.
That's like I like Aquaman. I like Aquaman, and they didn't make a movie for Cyborg, right?
no.
I think I watched the first half of Wonder Woman. I like it. There's good fight scenes. I just think the exposition is drawn out.
Yeah.
And that's it.
No.
But that's because they have a lot of lore to explain with.
To me, Wonder Woman was pretty good. I loved all the characters in Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and they had
All
to
the-
explain like their lore of
Yeah.
like because then the boss at the end was like her devil father or some shit, right?
It's what's
Demon
his name?
father.
The God of War.
Ares.
Ares, yeah,
there
it was
you go.
Ares.
So it's just shit like that. Like I just didn't, and the romanticism that was going on, but in between, I didn't give a shit.
Nah, me neither for that.
Yeah, like
But-
it was cool that she saved him a couple times in a cool way, but I didn't really give a shit about him. I felt like he just
Yeah, and in regards to the whole film industry of superhero movies, it's just I'm nitpicky, but I'm just so mad that they took away the one fucking thing that I enjoyed, which was the Netflix series.
Oh, yeah.
Daredevil, Luke Cage. I didn't watch Jessica Jones. Didn't even bother.
It was trash.
Didn't even bother.
It was worse than
Oh, really?
yeah, because they put it on.
They put it-
Oh, okay.
They're
Oh,
bringing
yeah.
it back.
It's not on Netflix anymore.
No.
Oh yeah, and apparently
That sucks.
And apparently they might reboot it.
Yeah. Yo, but the best. Tell me no. The best one out of all those shows. Obviously, Daredevil was at the top, but Luke Cage did so fucking good, bro.
Who's
That
my
story. Whoosh my stuff.
Yeah, dude. The second season, I remember she was back on a school night. I was with my uncle. He couldn't stop. He's like, "Oh, one more episode. And this is the first season. I already watched it, and he couldn't stop.
The whole story arc though, I wish a lot more superheroes took that line of where they overtake the boss and
Yeah, he was
right become it so that way they can stop all the other bosses.
He was
Like-
basically the kingpin of Harlem.
Yeah,
and all
Right.
that.
He
like-
took over the club right at
Like,
the end.
only other person that ever tried to do some shit like that, and this is a fucking joke, but it was like the Penguin, and we know what happened to the Penguin. So,
Yeah.
It's like they could have done so much with that universe because they have reference points to like the movies, like the incident. They'd have like the newspaper, tabloid and stuff.
I think that might be the answer to why the differentiation between DC and Marvel is because of a lot of continuities in the universe itself. And a lot of things that tie in just from other shit. And you won't really get it unless you watch everything. And that's pretty cool.
Well, it's not a problem because superhero movies are now like American subculture. Can't really find somebody who doesn't know about the Avengers movies. So,
Yeah.
but like, if I'm like an average moviegoer, it's gonna suck if I walk in on like Avengers Endgame and like
Who the fuck is this purple face?
right. If I walk in like on Infinity War and it's like,
But
why is it starting off on a spaceship? I don't get what's going on here.
But for everyone else, this has been like a tremendous build-up.
Yeah.
Like,
What is it?
Like
10, 20 years almost that we've been waiting for this to happen.
what if OGs watching Robert Downey's first Iron Man are like, what if they do an Avengers? because that was at the end of that movie. I think
Nick Fury's in it.
yeah, and
Well-
he talks to him about the initial
Right, and at the
In the end
what came
scene.
first, the Hulk or
Iron
Iron
Man?
Man? Iron Man. In the Hulk movie, then it was Tony Stark talking to
Yeah.
Colonel. It's pretty
Rest in
cool.
peace.
Rest in peace, William Hurt. Yeah, he died.
He passed away.
Passed away.
Yeah, I heard that there were. I think there were rumors that he might have played like people wanted him to be Commissioner Gordon or something too.
That would have been cool. He would have been a good. He was gonna play. Well, we were hoping Red Hulk because they were in the Disney series that they're doing. They were like building that up. That he was gonna be Red Hulk and he was gonna do the Thunderbolts and all that. I don't know what they're gonna do now, but man, rest in peace. Like good actor, great actor.
There was another one. I think it was Bruce Willis. He
Well, he
retired.
retiring.
Yeah, but it was because of
He has aphasia.
Yeah, there you go.
That's fucked up.
That's tragic.
That's crazy.
He doesn't
I
understand.
can't believe that.
You know, it's kind of like dementia, but this one just affects the language part of your.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
it's
You
the
kinda
speech
just
part.
forget.
It's the most important part of
Yeah.
acting. That's what blows. I mean, what movies was he doing?
I don't know.
Isn't
I
Bruce
really don't
Willis
know.
Die Hard?
Yeah.
Die Hard, yeah.
like all of that.
No, he was probably working on some project.
No,
Well,
that's
he was.
He was?
And you know the Golden Raspberries, right? The people that give out the awards for worst act.
Oh, the Razzies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those guys. And they took back the award from Bruce Willis because like, oh, we heard about his condition and we feel bad, and so they took it back.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about you taking back an award.
No, but it's a
For
shit
worst
award.
actor.
Yeah.
Worst actor.
We're gonna call it wraps.
Yeah.
Unless you guys want to include anything else on the end.
Yeah, man, it was a great talk. I mean, it's an honor to be here. This is your second edition of this
Yeah,
podcast.
Yeah,
Second
well,
edition.
like 2.5. We had
Yeah.
a first episode. It didn't.
We
The audio
kinda-
cut off.
We used
Okay.
to number it, but I don't think we should number it anymore. I think we'll try and label
Yeah.
it based on discussion who was on as well. But it was great to have you on.
No, for real,
If
yeah.
you ever-
Yeah,
Great
man,
honor.
it's a pleasure to be here. Love it. I love what you guys are doing. I hope this pops off. More people in this community, Union City, people that we graduated with, people that we grew up with, watch this stuff and have more people come on. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
we definitely
always.
want to have
It's an
people
awesome
come on
experience,
stage.
guys. Love
Same
it.
here, bro.
Next.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning into this podcast. We're gonna be up live Monday. Keep us next week, and we'll see you guys then.
Peace out, bro.